This bout is set at 160 pounds and scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. In the red corner, we have Jontae War Machine McCowan taking on Princeton Jackson. In the blue corner, red shorts, me, Brian Lacey, alongside Frank McCowan. The action for you here, Frank and Princeton taking the center of the cage early. Straight in on that takedown attempt. When you're in there, and I don't know if you can speak via experience, Frank, but when you know each other so well, I mean, these have had 6 months of solid training together, round after round in different positions, grappling on a daily basis almost. When you know each other that well, kind of when you step in there, do you think there's a mental edge for one of the fighters? Does one of the guys know, look, I've got you in this side? And
it goes two ways. One, you're right. You kind of know, especially with the guy who's getting the upper hand most of the time in practice, there's a level of comfort of going, all right, I know that I nailed this move, I go through. But then also, too, look, the more you train with somebody, the more that gap closes. I've seen guys in the gym all the time, they don't understand that. They sit there and go, well, I train with A fighter all the time, and, you know, I smash B fighter. That's like, well, yeah, but A fighter, you've closed the gap on. He was better than you, but you made it a much more difficult fight because you learned his moves. He goes with somebody else and completely blows a guy out of the water maybe that you have a difficult time with. Nice rolling knee bar.
Yeah, he loves a knee bar. Like I said, caught Sean O'Malley with that technique.
Jackson's doing a good job of keeping him off of him, though. Right now, that's, you know, keeping McCowan off of him. Yes, Jackson. It's by hitting the knee bar, being on the bottom. As long as your opponent can't rotate on top of you and build that base, it could be successful. Even if you're not successful with the limb, you want to make sure to see how right now he's got him stretched out. Right now, McCowan's having a hard time building his base up. If McCowan can get his other knee underneath of him and build his hips on top of, that's when this, see those punches? See, now he's building a base, he's grabbing a neck, got his legs under him. That's when going for the knee bar can become dangerous. And the difference between no-gi or especially no point or submission-only grappling that doesn't punish you for it, it's like, well, you know, when we can lay knuckles on somebody, you might not go for that same maneuver.
Yeah, you saw there a quick reaction from Princeton on the bottom. Now you have Jontae on his back. And one of the key things for understanding just how high level their grappling is there was Princeton's composure in that position, right, Frank?
Yes, because he was stretched out there. He was on a hip. That's not a good sign. That's, you know, that's you're in danger right now. He's rotating through again. They're a good job of fighting back, keeping good pressure, keeping his hips under him there for Jackson. Excuse me, for McCowan. And looks like he can feed that crossface. If he can get a hold of that tricep, he may not be able to push, you know, Jackson to his back so he can get him to stop attacking that leg. And right now, though, Jackson doing a good job. Used his head there actually to clear the wrist, which just shows you again that's smart grappling. People don't realize that their neck, their head, it's a fifth limb. You know, you can use it to establish pressure, create frames, pin things down there. He used it to clear a wrist. Hey, going back to what we talked earlier about the training, and then so there's a familiarity sometimes when you see the same person all the time that can allow for comfort also. That, you know, I see guys all the time in the gym, you know, they train with somebody new, the heart rate goes through the roof because it's unfamiliar, it's unknown. Here, all of a sudden, you're facing a guy you've sparred with for 6 months, for a year. There's a comfort level. They're like, oh, I kind of know you.
Solid right hand connection there from Princeton Jackson. Oh, a nice over the top left hand as well. Faked the level change, came over the top, and now in on the clinch.
Now, that was a nice transition of just good mixed martial arts skills. He made it look like he was going to take a shot, came over the top of the left hand, ended up then going in for a body lock, taking the back. He has the leg reaped over the side, locking up. He can use that to try to feed up. If he can control something on the left side of McCowan, he might be able to pull himself up onto the back, but right now, a nice little mat return.
Oh. Works his way nice and now drops. Tries to set that rolls with Jontae well, but Jontae comes out the back door.
Armbar.
The threat with the armbar. Wow, what a scramble.
He's got to get the other leg over the top. Right now, he's more of a triangle almost. And he's pushing hard, but because of the angle, he might have a hard time securing the full armbar. But he could turn this into a triangle attempt. Yeah. He's got a reverse triangle right now if he wants to, but again, beautiful here. Great transition. This is fighting. He's using a lock, a hold, and if McCowan can't get out of this position and keeps eating these shots, this could be very detrimental towards the fight.
Yeah, and only 15 seconds now. McCowan looking to survive them. But the scramble, Frank, the scramble. It looked like McCowan had come out the back door, but as he did, Great work from Princeton to lock up that arm.
He's going to lock up the Kimura. So he's trying to get under the mat right now. The gloves are making it a little bit difficult. If he had no glove on, he'd have the Kimura already.
Wow.
Slipping it in there. And really precarious position for McCowan to be in. Great composure for him not to panic and freak out and make a mistake there.
Oh, again, the right hand connects with Princeton as we move into round number 2 here, scheduled for 3-5 minutes. Should it go the distance? And in the corner of Princeton Jackson, you've got the UKF gym and also Dragon Snake MMA, and they were very happy with what they saw in the first round.
That was a beautiful, again, combination. I love how Jackson uses his level changes. He level changed through a right hand, level changed again, came with an uppercut, and then took the shot to lock down on the hips of Jackson. And McCowan. And McCowan just goes on the defense when he sees the level changes. Kind of the mistake he's making, he's trying to counter shot. So he sits there and he's trying to keep his eyes open and see what's coming. But, Jackson's being too aggressive and coming forward with too many different looks. Sit through, drag for the single.
Oh, he caught him with the left as well there, Frank. And Princeton Jackson is so deceptive. You look him at the weigh-ins, he looks like he's almost not taking it seriously. He's like, physically, he's not totally ripped, but he's such an efficient fighter, right? He puts things together well and obviously has power. He's got a couple of times.
Beautiful straight left hand. You're right, he does. It's great power, great creativity. It's almost kind of like he just uses his, he took a bad knee there. And that hurt.
Yeah, War Machine nickname for a reason. Doesn't mind the trenches at all.
Yeah, so he's creative. He's not bound by a style of sitting there, well, this is the rules I have to stick through. So he's very unorthodox. It's difficult sometimes, I think, and that's what, if Jackson tries to play a counter fighter with a guy who's unorthodox, McCowan plays it with Jackson, it's difficult because he's not doing things according to the book. So they're weird reads that you have to look at. But that being said, those weird reads are weird for a reason. They leave you open at times, and that's where he ate that really bad knee there from Jackson, is that at times it's not the most efficient way to move. It does leave you open. It does, create problems. That's why there is a classical way to do things, because it's the more efficient way.
Yeah, you talk about efficiency as well. That's the first time we've seen Princeton Jackson take really deep breaths there as he went in for that shot, showing signs of fatigue. And we've got to say as well, they're both making their debuts, Frank. 3 minutes and 5 minutes is a world of difference, right? We might think, it's only 120 seconds, but when you're in there going 100%, those 2 minutes really can, affect you badly as far as cardio.
And also the mental aspect of, look, I don't care as serious as you take it, there's always that little bit, and I say it to my amateur fighters, hey, this doesn't count towards your record. Guess what? I can't say that when you turn pro.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more serious. You sit there and go, hey, this is going to count forever. I don't ever get to get rid of this W or this L if it comes. So there's this little bit more added pressure that, like, this is the big leagues now, guys. This is the real one. This counts towards my record. I'm going to carry this for the rest of my life. Amateur records, people forget about. I have no idea what Anderson Silva's amateur record is. He could have lost every fight. I don't know. Pro record, I know, how many set records,
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're watching this round unfold, 1 minute 52nd of round number 2. And a lot of forward pressure from McCowan, but now a response from Princeton Jackson.
Well, Jackson's a great thinker. I like that. He sits there and sets things up. He did that leg stomp, oblique kick on the top of the thigh, did it twice, and on the third one lifted his knee and came with the punch, trying to change and misdirect and set traps there from McCowan. Oh, nice. Oh, slipped out there. Yep. Fatigue is definitely becoming more of a factor for Jackson than it is for McCowan right now.
And still some power in the shots of McCowan. Yeah, look at the response. You still got to respect him.
That was a nice low single. Came right into a body lock to the trip. He's able to take the back. Nope. He's on the hips, though, in a great position right now with a minute left.
That's what you also need to see from your fighters, right, Frank? As a coach, when there are switches in momentum in the fight, like you can feel the fatigue starting to hit Princeton Jackson, you've got to change it, right?
Yes.
And he did exactly that.
It has to come within. I don't care how much the guy on the side screams. I mean, I've screamed at people. I've been screamed at. If it's not there and you can't flip the switch, it's not there, And right now, though, Jackson doing a good job using his shin. He created a frame with his right leg on the hips of Jackson to go ahead and avoid, being taken down fully. Even though he was on a hip, he blocked it. I mean, hell, if this was a folk style wrestling match, I don't know if he would have got 2 there. And so as far as securing a takedown. But, you know, it looks good in the judges. He did it close, locking it up. He has Jackson now more on his heels, and definitely a moment in the fight, like you're saying, he needed it because he was taking some deep, heavy breaths there.
Yeah, mixed it up towards the end of that round, and we are going to see a third round here.
We have a close fight on our hands, but really it's kind of the tale of what's going on right now is, you know, Jackson's leading, and Princeton and McCowan is trying to, you know, find opportunities.
Oh. And as you said, that Princeton
right
threw
there.
up the high kick, caught him.
And a three-piece combination, and then when Princeton came in to go ahead and try to do you know, turn this into a striking match, Jackson, very intelligent, changed right down to that low single, fighting it up, trying to get his hands connected on that double now. But great McCowan controlling that wrist so he can't get his hands connected. Oh, he was able to get his hands away from him.
Yeah, nice elbows from McCowan there. Oh, and there's the takedown from Princeton. Jackson, single leg, turns the corner.
You're right. You know, I mean, again, I saw, you know, Jackson at the weigh-ins. He's just, his physique, his demeanor is very unassuming and doesn't really convey the type of warrior that he really is. He's going to hit a cradle here. Let's see if he can connect his hands. Is he doing it? Yeah, he's looking for it.
He was looking. He's looking to feed that through.
Yeah, if he can connect it and pull McCowan away from the cage, he'll make it that much more difficult for him to get up and secure a top position and catch a breath right now and look for something. Right now, he basically has what's like a Navy ride. The arm is between the legs and side control. He just dumped it to eliminate it because he felt that arm go over his head. He's going to lock up the hips, but his arm's over the shoulder right there, which is not allowing him to get a full bite on those hips to pull McCowan away from the cage.
Still that pressure from Princeton. Jackson now
there he goes.
Just to pull him away.
Yep, yanked him away, stepped over now into half guard. And now, right now, this part of the fight, Princeton's trying to pull back full guard, but now they have a bite here of the fight going on with that leg. See right now, Jackson pushing it down, and now their fight's over with as far as McCowan is locked up full guard right now, but honestly, like, you're right, Jackson can't pass his guard, but that might not be the best idea right now because he can't get up to his feet. His feet are off the mat and around someone's waist. That's not an easy design to get up. And so right now your head's pushed against the cage. I would say that was actually a tactical mistake, showing that, you know, this is McCowan's first professional fight. He still has a lot to learn about the sport of tactics within the cage. Maybe not so much arm bars, chokes, punches. He understands that high level, but cage strategy. Right then, that wasn't what he should have done. I would have almost let him pass so I can roll to your knees, grab wrist control, build a base, get against the cage, work your way back up. Because right now, on his back, it's very hard to get a submission with your head stuck against the cage because you can't flip your hips left and right. You can't create angles. The top guy is at a huge advantage right now at this point inside the fight, and you gave it to him by connecting your legs around his waist.
You can see that, exactly what you're pointing out there, that the top guy has the upper hand because they can react to your movement as well, right? They can control you when you want to move. They can make the slide to the back.
Yep. And right now, though, he did a good job. See how he abandoned the guard, switched down. Even though it looks like Jackson now has the opportunity to take the back, but now Princeton and McCowan's in the fight. He's able to now try to build a base. He might possibly be able to go ahead and, dump that wizard, that he has, grab wrist control, and just stand up.
And we are in deep waters now here, round number 3. Princeton Jackson's base, as far as before he got really into jiu-jitsu, submission grappling, was wrestling, Frank. And that is we don't have a program like you have in the US, in the UK. And when you talk about it as a martial art, especially as a young man or woman coming through the ranks, it is like, it's the hardest sport. It's the most grueling, not physically, but mentally as well, right?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I think wrestling is probably, as far as controlling the position of a fight in MMA, is key. I mean, you'd be remiss to ignore the fact that most of our champions have a strong wrestling background. You have your outliers, you do. You have your Anderson Silvas, your Israel Adesanya's that don't have a wrestling background. Yeah. Oh, head and arm attempt.
Oh, he's jumped for that. He's pushed forward.
Even if he doesn't get it, though, right now, it's going to be difficult to get that choke with his head against the cage like that. In the frame that McCowan has with his hand on his head, he's keeping that carotid artery open. And where the cage, basically, that's where Jackson needs to jump to. It's going to be difficult. But while you're holding that choke, time's running out, and you're winning. With that being said, 100% wrestling, just here you see the position controls, and then I think it comes down to submissions and knowing how to lock up and choke people out, and striking probably the least, you know, because if you could look at our champions, that's just how it is. I mean, that's why my children, I push wrestling on them. Bella's a national champion wrestler, a part of her MMA career.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. All 3 judges scored the bout even at 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, Princeton Jackson.